Let's talk about how to use COVID-19 and the idiom sick as a dog to supersize and grow our businesses. Elephant in the room, let's admit it. COVID-19 is impacting absolutely positively every one of our businesses and every one of our lives, at least here in the United States and pretty much everywhere throughout the entire world. You'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that has not been impacted by the current pandemic, the current virus, in some way, shape, or form, especially with respect to our livelihoods and our businesses. Now, the idiom sick as a dog relates to this in several ways. Sick as a dog is one of those idioms and one of those expressions or similes. When you compare something to something else, it's actually a simile in addition to being an idiom. And it's been around since the 1500s. It was first recorded in 1705. And one of the reasons is because dogs are such a common animal for human beings. They've interacted with us for centuries, and they've been our pets and our friends and our compatriots or whatever. They've been with us for so long that they are just a part of our everyday lives. My daughter has 2 dogs. I grew up with dogs and rarely cats, but sometimes, but mostly we always had a dog. And as raising my family, we always had dogs, usually 2, but sometimes we just had 1. But I can't remember a time when we did not have a dog when we were when I was raising my family and kids. We've always had a dog. And now I currently don't have a dog, but my daughter has 2 dogs and things, so I get lots of interaction with dogs, even though I don't currently own one. Now, dogs are really popular in idioms. Think of all the dog idioms that we've talked about over the last several months. Sick as a dog today, a dog's life, it's raining cats and dogs, in the doghouse, let sleeping dogs lie, what's another one? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, things like that. They're really popular and common because they've been such a part of our lives. Now, who doesn't know a dog that goes around and eats something it shouldn't and then throws up? I had some experience with that just the other day. My daughter's home visiting from Colorado, and one of her dogs got into an ear of corn and got sick. She's got one dog that will eat everything in the house, and anything it can get into, she'll eat. And she's got another dog that will eat anything outside. And they both are prone, like many dogs, to eat things they shouldn't and get sick, which is part of where this idiom comes from, because of the habit that dogs actually do that. In addition, dogs, like many other animals, in other times, I'm not sure if dogs carry COVID or not. I can't remember. I think there's some controversy over that. But oftentimes pets, birds and animals were carriers of certain diseases, rats and birds and things, but also things like our pets, our cats and dogs. So they've got this reputation for spreading illnesses and maladies in the human race as well as having it themselves. So that's part of where the idiom and the expression sick as a dog comes from. Now, when people are getting COVID-19, some are getting sick as a dog, some are having almost no symptoms at all. So maybe you could say, oh, that doesn't really fit, but it really does. Last time, I don't know how often you get sick as a dog. I very seldom, but I actually felt and used the idiom and the expression sick as a dog this last Christmas. This last Christmas, I had some kind of a bug, some kind of a flu that I was down and out. I totally missed Christmas Day, totally missed pretty much that entire 2 weeks around Christmas and New Year's, and it was just a down and out time. It was the only day I remember that I could not get myself up enough energy. I could not, no matter what, make my videos that day, and that's the only day in the last 3 years that I haven't made a video. So for me, that was a really big deal. So sick as a dog, COVID-19, what the heck does it have to do with our businesses, and how can we make sure that our businesses are better off during and after because of COVID-19 than before COVID-19? Now, I can already hear the screaming and people saying, you're crazy, there's no way my business is going to be better off. I've been shut down for 6 months on and off, or shut down for 6 months totally because of the rules and regulations with respect to my business. I hear you. I hear what, the experience. But the truth is, there's always something that we can do. There's always something we can do, even if our business is shut down. There's always a way we can continue to serve people and add value to the world, no matter what. But we have to open our minds and open our options to look for the possibilities of different ways of serving people. Yep, I can't have people come into my nail salon or my hair salon in a lot of areas still, despite the controversy in politics, because of the rules and the guidelines and the regulations in certain areas of the country. I'm just talking about the United States right now. I don't know what's going on in the rest of the world. Too much to keep up with, right? Too much information. So how do we do this? How do we make sure that, and how do we learn from this experience to make sure that we're never caught like this again, caught being impacted by things that are outside of our control and feeling like there's nothing we can do about it? Number one, what have we done and what can we do now to deal with the current situation? How can we continue to serve people? How can we continue to generate income and move forward in our lives, even though the way we are used to doing it has changed and probably changed forever? We need to be looking for those things and asking ourselves those questions and brainstorming. There's always a way to change and pivot and grow and look for alternative ways of serving people and giving value. If you've got knowledge or wisdom or experience doing anything, just because one door has closed doesn't mean there aren't 100 doors opening in terms of different ways and different possibilities to serve people. Then when we're sick, and I compare this to what do we do before we get sick? What do we do when we're sick? What do we do after we're sick? What do we do before COVID? What did we do before COVID? Maybe we got caught with our jammies down and we didn't have anything in place. We weren't prepared for this. I don't know very many businesses and people that were prepared for the changes that have impacted them with respect to COVID. Whether they are good changes that have supersized and catapulted their business to a level that they couldn't even have imagined, or they've shut your business down entirely. And I hate to say they, because yeah, we know it's politicians and government and all this, but whether it's not business as usual or it's business exploded, the challenges are as big and the same for either direction that in either experience that you're having. So you couldn't have planned for exponential growth, probably. I mean, very few of us, even though we dream of exponential growth, don't actually have it in our everyday operating procedures and plans. So whether it's impacting you in a way that you're exploding in growth or you're dead in the water, the lack of being prepared for that is pretty common because nobody was prepared for this. I don't think anybody ever had in their emergency action plans COVID or a pandemic. At least I know in the businesses I've been involved in, we never had a pandemic plan or a zombie apocalypse plan, right? We just didn't have that built into our systems. So not much we can do about that. It's going to be responding and reacting on the fly, but being creative and looking for solutions. What can we do right now? Instead of complaining about what isn't available anymore, what is possible? What can we do right now? What can we do creatively going forward? Look at all of the different industries and the creative ways they are meeting the needs of their customers. Restaurants are opening at half capacity or sometimes 25% capacity. They've just taken out half their tables. Pretty simple solution. Plexiglass, the plexiglass market has got to have gone through the roof because more plexiglass has probably been used in 2020 than in the last 40 years combined. You're seeing plexiglass everywhere. It's pretty easy to install plexiglass in your spa, in your salon, in your manufacturing environment. There are so many solutions, but until we get over complaining about the problems and what is the past, we don't look for those solutions. We need to open ourselves up and do the best we can and create systems going forward. Learn from this experience to make sure that we're creating systems that are continually improving and preparing us for the future no matter what might happen. It's been painful for a lot of people, but it's been a huge lesson in what's possible and how creative and how amazing and how imaginative and human beings actually can be, how resilient we can be with our businesses. Love to know your experience with COVID-19. What is your business doing before, during, and after to prepare to stay in the game? Lots of businesses are just shuttering up and not even participating, not playing in the game of life anymore, the game of business anymore. I think that's sad because that means that we've decided that there's nothing we can do, and there's always something we can do. It's our idiom for today, sick as a dog, COVID-19. Love to know the impacts that you're experiencing, and if there's any way I can help you to see past the what is right now, please ask, please let me know. Let's go out, have an absolutely amazing day, and I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to build and grow and create the business that you want